I'm live. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Hotep. Namaste. Jumbo. Ashe. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am Napashada, and as you see from the title, this is going to be a series. And Moses, the son of Egyptian mothers, with an Israelite father. So I'm just going to go into some information that I've put together, connected between the Bible and things that are esoteric in the Bible, but it's there plain as day that Moses is an Israelite. Just one moment. Alrighty, that didn't take too long. That was goofy. I forgot to change that. Okay, so I just want to start right off. Yes, peace to everybody in the chat. I'm not going to be looking in the chat too much, but I do see you there. Good morning or good evening or wherever you are. Hope you got some rest. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the Bible says, "Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land." Deuteronomy 23, verse 7. You'll see a lot of those type of commandments in the priestly text of the Bible, especially. And the priestly text or the priest text is basically linked to the Levitical priesthood. Why is that important in this particular presentation? Because Moses is a Levite. He is a Levite, son of a Levite, of the tribe of Levi, with a mother who is the daughter of an Egyptian Kemetic woman, and a Levitical or Levite male. Peace to you. Okay, so now looking back at this PowerPoint, so if you come in, peace to you, please hit the like. So you get what I'm saying? Let me go through my presentation. If you don't, it'll be a lot easier to understand and more organized. Okay. All right. At that time, Moses was born, and he was beautiful in the sight of God. For 3 months, he was nurtured in his father's house. Now, when you read that, you think Paul's saying he was nurtured in his father's house. When he was set outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him in. So first, let's start there where it says he was nurtured in his father's house. His father could also be seen as the Pharaoh, the grandfather of the mother. And his mother, Jochebed, can be seen as the nursemaid, who she is, it's in the text. She's the nursemaid, the wet nurse for Moses. And she was hired by Moses's mother. So he has two mothers. This is very relevant in Kemetic spirituality as well. He has two mothers. He has Jochebed, who gives birth to him, but he also has the princess, the daughter of the Pharaoh, who is his, how do you say, his ultimate, his mother that he elevates to. You see that also in the story of Hagar, and or you can call her Heru. I say Hagar, sorry, Hathor, Het Heru, and Osset. I'm going to say the Hellenized names. Hathor and Isis. Horus has two mothers. He has the first mother, who is Hathor, Heru, and then he has the more popular goddess mother, who is Aset, Isis. So looking at this story, if you're following me, Moses has Jochebed, who in the Bible, you can see that she is the daughter of an Egyptian mother, Kemetic mother, and a Levite father. Okay, Jochebed, Moses' mother. So you got to follow along. It's a lot, but I think you can do it. You can do. I mean, I don't think I know. It's just a little sounds complicated, but it's not. Jochebed is the first mother. The unnamed princess of the Pharaoh is the second more popular mother, the ultimate mother, so to speak. But all right, so we have Paul saying for 3 months he was nurtured in his father's house. The wet nurse was in the house of the Pharaoh. If you look closely at the text, it doesn't say go away. The English says it, but the Hebrew says come, nurse him. You following me? So Jochebed did not take the child and take him into her home. The child Jochebed was brought into the Pharaoh's home, who is the father, because he's ultimately the father of the home. He's the father of the princess. And Jochebed nursed Moses for 3 months. Let's read it again. At the time Moses was born, and he was beautiful in the sight of God, for 3 months he was nurtured in his father's house. That's the Pharaoh's house. When he was set outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him and brought him up. Now see how it goes into that with the English. It says when he was set outside. It's going to tell the story of how Moses was discovered. I have to really reiterate this, because there are people out there who say, see, no, it says he was set outside. No, it's saying, how did he end up getting nursed in the Pharaoh's house? Well, I'll tell you in this story. When he was set outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him and brought him up as her own son. See? So Moses never went, once Pharaoh's daughter drew him out of the water, and that's exactly said in the text. Once she drew him out of the water, he stayed with her. He didn't get sent away. I'll show you in the text in Torah. When he was set outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him and brought him up as her own son. That is a part of the story. So he was brought up in his father's house the whole time from the moment Pharaoh's daughter took him out of the water. So Moses was educated in all the wisdom of Egyptians and was powerful in speech and action. Please take a note of that. I would like, if you are taking notes, that'd be great, because this is really going to show you that Moses was a Kemetic by not just religion, not just by conversion, but by blood. Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and he was powerful in speech, powerful in Egyptian speech, powerful in Egyptian language. So why does it later on, when God tells him in the story of Exodus to go talk to the Israelites, he says, I'm weak in speech, because he didn't speak the Israelite language fluently like he spoke the Kemetic language. It's in the text. You just have to look at it closely. So what we're finding out here, even from Paul's account in Acts chapter 7, verse 20 through 22, at the time Moses was born, he was beautiful in the sight of God. For 3 months, he was nurtured in his father's house. For 3 months, it's telling us he was nurtured, meaning breastfed, by his birth mother, Jochebed. Jochebed, the daughter of a Levite father and a Kemetic mother, which makes her Kemetic. In ancient times, in Kemet, in society, mainstream society, not pharaonic, mainstream society was matrilineal. The heritage, the lineage of the people was matrilineal. And even in the Pharaoh's home too, because you'll see on the let me see, the Palermo, one second. It's called the Palermo stone. You'll even see on the Palermo stone that the pharaoh's names are linked to the mothers written on the stone, and that's to show the lineage. So I don't want to, keep going on and on, but I want to take my time and show you that Moses, right here, it shows he was strong in Egyptian speech because he only spoke Kemetic language. He didn't speak Hebrew. He didn't speak the Israelite language. Let's keep going. And the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed. Now, Amram is Moses' father. Jochebed is Moses' biological birth mother. And the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi. So see, she was a daughter of the Levitical priest. So she was a daughter of Levi, ready? Whom her mother bare to Levi in Egypt. Okay, why is that relevant? So you'll have some people saying, that's stupid. Everybody was born in Egypt, but it doesn't specify that in the lineage. It doesn't specify that in the lineage. And why is this in context? To show us that he's Kemetic. It's in context because it's specifically saying her mother was in Egypt and had a baby with a Levite. It doesn't say she's a Levitical woman. It doesn't say she's a Levite woman because she's not. It's specifying that Levi, the Levi father, mother gave birth to Jochebed in Egypt. It's showing that she is Kemetic in that context. How do we know this? Because as I said, no other person in all of the Bible characters in these stories, no other person is it specified that they were born in Egypt. Why? We know they were born in Egypt, but this one here is showing us Jochebed, her mother bare her in Egypt to Levi. And no, not Levi, the first son of Jacob, because Moses was born, hundreds of years after Levi entered into Kemet. So it wasn't actually Levi, the forefather. It was a Levite, and that is who her mother, Jochebed, had a child with. Her mother was an Egyptian woman who married a Levite husband. How do we know this? The story will show us that Moses was protected because his mother was an Egyptian by matrilineal heritage. Okay, if he wasn't an Egyptian by matrilineal heritage, the baby would have been killed because that was a decree by the Pharaoh. Kill all the Hebrew babies. Moses was spared by it lived in the house of the man who wanted to kill all the Levite babies, all the Hebrew babies. The man who had the baby and heard the prophecy that this, leader was coming, he could have easily killed the baby, but he did not, because the baby was matrilineal bloodline of Kemet. This is what this is telling us. So I'm going to read it again. And the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed. She's the daughter of Levi, meaning she's in the line of Levi. Now, why is it saying she's the daughter of Levi? Remember, this is in a Hebrew Israelite book, right? In the Hebrew, with Hebrew lineage, it's patrilineal. That is why it's specified first that she's the daughter of Levi. Stay with me. You see how it's switching? It's significant that she's a Levite because her father is a Levite. They're not really showing you, oh, and she's also Kemetic. But remember, many Kemetic people and Kemetic and Israelite people mixed. So in this, it's showing this is the significance of Moses. He is patrilineally Levite. Now we flip it with the significance of Kemet. It says this is the significance of her being matrilineally Kemetic because her mother was Kemetic. So her mother was Kemetic for Kemet. Her father was Levite for Levi. Moses had the perfect combination, and that is how the Levitical priesthood was founded. That is how they linked it significantly and validated it through Kemet. He actually linked the Kemetic religion. If you don't have to believe he's real or not, it could have been Akhenaten, it could be the Hyksos, but just follow the story. He linked the two religions together, and that's what the book is about. It's about getting power. It's about getting political power and drawing that power from Kemet and taking control of a group of people. And he learned from Kemet, it was through bloodline. So he's working through bloodline. So let me read it again. And the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, whom her mother bare to Levi in Egypt. Whom her mother bare to Levi in Egypt. This is significant because she is Kemetic. And she bare unto Amram also Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. So those three are all Kemetic. They come from a mother who has a Kemetic. So their grandmother, get it? Their grandmother was a Kemetic woman. Jochebed is half Kemetic from their mother's side, half a Levite from the father's side. So for Kemet, it's important that her mother is Kemetic. For the Hebrews, it's important that her father is Levitical, was a Levite. All right, that's Numbers 26, verse 59. Let's keep going. So let's see here. Yes, so I already read that to you just now. Moses was Levite. He was a Levite, Hebrew, and Kemetic. So here we are. Father's line Levite, mother's line Kemetic, Egyptian. Simple. That was Jochebed, his mother. His mother was half Levite with a father who's Levite and a mother who's Kemetic. Let's keep reading here. Before I do go on, I do want to read some information. So I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint for a moment. And I'm going to share some information that I can validate what I'm saying even further about the matrilineal significance for Kemet. Let me go to just read a couple of things that you can do this too, but okay. So let's start with this article on researchgate.net. Okay, let's see here. Where is it? Maybe this is it. I think this is it. Okay. ResearchGate.net. Oh, God, these ads. All righty. The ancient Egyptian family, kinship and social structure. Abstract. Scholars in Egyptology have often debated the following question. Was the ancient Egyptian society organized along patrilineal or matrilineal lines? In taking a fresh and innovative look at the ancient Egyptian family, Allen attempts to solve. Oh, sorry, the author is Troy D. Allen. Allen attempts to solve this long-standing puzzle. Allen argues that matrilineal nature of the ancient Egyptian family and social organization provided us with the key to understanding why and how ancient Egyptian women were able to rise to power, study medicine, and enjoy basic freedoms that did not emerge in Western civilization until the 20th century. So it's saying that's why we can see these women having so much power that you don't even see until the 20th century, and they were already having this power in ancient Kemet because there was, the matrilineal line was significant. That's what this argument is. They enjoyed basic freedoms. Okay, I read that. More importantly, by examining the types of family that existed in ancient Egypt, along with highlighting the ancient Egyptians' kinship terms, we can place the ancient Egyptian civilization in the cultural context and incubator of Black Africa. This groundbreaking text is a must-read for historians and those working in African studies and Egyptology. So we can view the manual PDF, but I want to stop sharing that for a second and go on to another article because there are a few articles talking about that validate matrilineality. Okay, this is, what article is this from before I share it? The Egyptian relied on matrilineal heritage based on the assumption that maternal ancestors are less disputable than paternal ones. That is true back then. You could definitely know that the baby comes out of the woman, right? And so you can trace the bloodline easier. However, ancient Egypt was a society dominated by men and was also patriarchal in nature. Yes, that doesn't mean that the matrilineal heritage wasn't significant. So don't misconstrue or mix those two up or misunderstand. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to share this article about the Palermo stone. And I also put it in the PowerPoint, but I'm still going to share this. So, okay, let's see here. Palermo stone. Now, this is very heavy information, very valid, ancient artifact. The Palermo stone and its unsolved mysteries. Okay, the Black Stone with History of Pharaohs of Egypt. This is a very elaborate text, so to speak. It is a text which covers it. It just tells so much information about the monarchy, the powerful people, like just all the different offices. Why don't I just read it, right? What is the Palermo stone? The Palermo stone is a set of several pieces of a large black basalt slab written in hieroglyphics on both sides. Practically the oldest example of a royal annal, or you could say anal, a royal annal or annal known today. It contains the names of the pharaohs of the first 5 dynasties. So it's very significant, right? From around 3200 to 2350 BC, the main historical events that took place during the years of their reign and Other very important information about Egyptian civilization. This is a very important piece of a very important artifact, right? The find preserved in Palermo is the largest and best preserved of the 7 fragments identified so far, and for this reason, each individual piece is referred to as the Palermo stone, regardless of where it is currently stored. 5 are in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, and 1 in the Petrie Museum in London. The Palermo fragment measured approximately 43 centimeters high, 25 centimeters wide, and 6.5 centimeters thick. According to archaeologists, the piece should belong to a much larger slab, about 2 meters wide and 60 to 100 centimeters high. And it is written in hieroglyphics on both sides. So the metanetter is what I think when you say hieroglyphics, right? Yes, the word of God. That's what metanetter means. A unique case of its kind with rather small characters that are now so worn that they are difficult to read, especially on the blackface. Why am I reading this to you? Because it's going to show you that the mother line is very significant. Let me keep reading. How to read the Palermo stone. For the reading and interpretation of the Palermo stone, we must give credit to Egyptologist Massimiliano Nuzzolo. Clearly that's Italian, right? Charles IV University in Prague, who together with Catherine Piquet and Mohammed Osman are studying the finds as never before. In addition to traditional and modern systems of archaeological research, the 3 scholars have relied on a special photographic technique to obtain legible images of the now faded signs. RTI, reflectance transformation imaging, which consists of taking very high resolution photos by varying the source and angles of the light. So they're really working to preserve this information with high-tech, cutting-edge equipment, which is great. The inscription is divided into bands on the Palermo stone. The first at the top describes only so now we're going into how significant everything on the stone is, right? So we're getting to what I want you to see. I just want to be thorough so you can know what the Palermo stone is, because I didn't know what it was until I researched it, until I did the research on the matrilineal line. Okay, so I digress. The first at the top describes only a list of 15 pre-dynastic pharaohs without any other indication. They probably referred to such an ancient period that the scribe had no other information about them. And the scribe would be a priest, by the way. Anytime you see that word scribe, it was a priest. Just want to throw that in there. Then a series of rows divided by bands list all the kings from the 1st to the 4th dynasty. Now, these are the kings. This is important information, right? This is what I want you to hear. Each row is divided into years by a sign similar to an inverted F, since Egyptian writing goes from right to left. In the bands separating the rows, the names of the rulers, so it's such important information, and their royal mothers are noted. Let me say that again. The names of the rulers and their royal mothers are noted for each year, and at the bottom is the level of the Nile and the flood level. So there's so much very important information there. I had to, it was a lot, but I want you to see the mother is listed. Why? Because the mother is significant. Why? Because the mother, peace, EP, I see you guys in the chat. All right. Yeah, it's late night, kind of early morning, but peace to everybody. So the mother is listed because the line is important through the mother. going back to Moses, going back to the PowerPoint. So there is hardcore evidence showing that I'm not just, flying by the seat of my knickers. Yeah, this is relevant information. And yes, Moses was the son of a mother who had a Kemetic mother. So on the mother's side, maternal grandmother, 100% Kemetic. Mama, half Kemetic, which is mama was Kemetic, daddy's Levi. Moses is the son of a woman whose matrilineal line makes him Kemetic. That's why he wasn't destroyed in the story. Whether it's fake or not, whether you believe the story or not, you can look at the story and the context. You can stay with the story and see. Pharaoh said, kill all the Hebrew boys. But the Pharaoh didn't kill Moses because Moses was Kemetic. All right, so getting back to the PowerPoint. All righty, here we go. So father's line Levi, mother's line Kemetic. He had the best of both worlds. Let's read this. The ancients, so I'm going to give you some background on some information that I found. This is from a piece called The Subversion of Myth. And this is the foreword by Gary Rinsberg. And he is a professor at Blanche and Irving Laurie. He is the Blanche and Irving Laurie Professor of Jewish History and Chair of the Department of Jewish Studies at Rutgers University. So he's from Rutgers University. He is a specialist, an expert in this information. Let's read some of what he's written about this story of Moses and, the narrative of Moses being a baby sent off and found. Remember I said there's two mothers, very significant in these stories. Two women are present often in these stories. The ancient, especially in Kemet, I should say, the ancients delighted in telling tales of their heroic leaders who at birth were exposed to nature, usually by their parents who, for one reason or another, did not desire their newborn sons. Okay. Among the most famous accounts are the stories of Oedipus from Greece and Romulus and Remus of Rome, along with the less well-known but equally important story of Sargon of Akkad in ancient Mesopotamia. So all those different mentions, Oedipus of Greece, Romulus and Remus of Rome, and Sargon, are similar to the Moses story where the parents had to send them out into nature. Like Romulus and Remus go in the cave, get nursed by a wolf. You know what I mean? So they just sent them out. Sargon, similar to Moses, put him in a little boat, and put him into the water. Bye-bye, we don't want you. That's what happened in these stories. So let me keep reading. There is a difference, however, between the Moses story and the other exposed infancy narratives. What's the difference, family? Well, for in the Exodus story, chapter 2, the goal of Moses's mother is not to be rid of the child, but to save him. This is the same as the story of Horus. Let me say it again. The story of Moses is the same, very similar. Aset has to hide him. She's hiding in the reeds. That's exactly what happens with Moses. He's found in the reeds. She's hiding in the reeds with her maidens, with her nursemaids, right? With the women, her ladies. It's not just one woman. They're all together, or there's at least two significant women saving the baby. So let's stay with me. I'm going to keep reading, okay? This just shows you more that Moses is Kemetic. Moses is even even if you don't, like I said, I keep reiterating, you don't have to believe the story. We're examining the text and story, and we're making sense of it where it has never been made sense of. Not on the side of those who teach Kemet, because they don't really take the time to really research this, which that's fine. And it's not on the side of those who teach the Bible, because they don't take the time to research Kemet. But what we're seeing in the story of Moses, that he's actually a Kemetic bloodline, but it's esoteric, it's hidden. We're uncovering it. Yes, I know I digress, but let me get back to this. So in the Exodus story, chapter 2, the goal of Moses' mother is not to be rid of the child, but to save him. So it's, people can say, oh, all these stories are the same. The story of Sargon, Oedipus. No, those stories, the mom and dad was like, get out of here. We don't want you. Die in the wilderness, But this story, the only one similar to Kemet, is that they save the child. It's very important. Okay, so that information is very important. This occurs, okay, so they save him. This occurs elsewhere in ancient literature, only in the story of baby Horus. I just said that, right? That's Heru. See, so anyone saying you can't just say it's Kemet, yes, I can, because this is the only story that matches as far as mother saving the child. The rest of them, the mother didn't want to save the child. All right. I'm banging that in because there's some people out there who just don't want to hear the truth. So we got to keep on hitting them over the head with piñata stick. Okay. The baby Horus, that's Heru, whose mother, Isis, sought to protect him from his wicked uncle Set. That's represented as the Pharaoh. Also, the Pharaoh's interchangeable in the story of the Bible. There's a part where the Pharaoh is like, I need to kill all the Hebrews. And because he heard the prophecy of Moses. Heru is Moses. He's equivalent to Moses in the stories. Okay. So sought to protect. Okay. So the story Egyptian, let's see here. Sought to protect him from the wicked uncle Set. The Hebrew and Egyptian stories share this crucial feature, which is lacking in other parallels, family. So Gary Rinsberg, the professor and Jewish history chair at Rutgers University, agrees with me. Okay, great. All right, so let's see here. These share crucial features which is lacking in other parallels, and therefore beckon us to read the former in the light of the latter. The list of specific features shared by the two accounts is truly remarkable, according to Gary Rinsberg. He calls it remarkable. It is fascinating when you really find it out. In both stories, it is the mother who is the active parent. In the Kemetic version, the Egyptian version, Osiris is dead. In the Hebrew account, Moses' father is mentioned in passing in Exodus 2:1, after which the role of the mother is more highlighted. It's highlighted, right? So again, there's more of a presence of the mother and the son. Where else is that, family? In the story of Jesus. Where's Joseph? He gets a little part, in the first scene of the play, but afterwards you don't see him anymore. Very similar, right? Goes back to Kemet, but not getting into the story of Jesus, of Yahushua yet. I'm sticking with Moses here. Moses is the active parent in the Kemetic version. Osiris is dead. Okay, the mother is more highlighted. We got that. Both mothers construct a small vessel of reeds. By the way, that vessel of reeds is called Thebes. It's actually Thebes in Hebrew. Thebes is one of the main cities of worship for the Kemetics, for the Egyptians, right? Important. But anyway, I digress. A small vessel of reeds and places the baby in the marshlands of the delta. Marshlands are where the reeds are, where the papyrus, the reeds are, where they find Moses. In both accounts, another female relative watches over the baby. See? It's just like what I said. There's always two. Nephthys in the Horus story, Heru story, Nephthys is the daughter, is the wife, the sister of Osset in the Kemetic story. Nephthys is the sister of Osset. Okay. She's also the sister of Osiris. So she's the sister. Key word is sister. Okay. Remember that. So Nephthys, both watch over the baby, the sisters. Nephthys in the Horus story, the Heru story, and Miriam in the biblical account watches over her brother in the reeds. Get it? You can say, wait, no, Heru is not the brother of Nephthys. He's the nephew. But in the story, Heru is essentially Osiris reincarnated, right? So please, don't split hairs. All right. Miriam in the biblical story. Significantly, in both stories, the mother's suckling of the child is emphasized. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Isis, Osset nursing of the baby Horus, is a prominent feature of the Kemetic artwork. And they also show, they're also artwork of the actual cow version, like Hathor as a cow nursing. But it's not Heru. I think it's Hatshepsut had herself represented as herself in the reeds nursing. So they knew that it was, because Osset and Isis are essentially the same goddess. You understand? I said Osset and Isis, sorry. Het Heru and Osset are essentially the same goddesses, but Hathor, Isis, Hathor came first, and then Isis kind of took her over, took her head piece, and just bogarted her whole way into Het Heru's space. But it's all good. She didn't mind. All right, so the nursing is very important, right? In both accounts, they are nursing, and it's emphasized. Let's see here. While the biblical story, Miriam arranges for Moses' mother, Jochebed, remember, two mothers, because Hathor is the first mother of Horus. Yes, Het Heru, it actually means house of Horus. Het Heru is Hathor. She's the first mama of Horus, of Heru. Then somehow Isis is now the mother of Heru. Just like in the story that we're going to see. Let me keep reading. Significantly, okay, let me go back. Most importantly, in both stories, the baby is hidden and protected from the wicked machinations of the villain. The fact noted briefly above that Horus is the god of kingship is of critical importance. It means that every pharaoh, please listen carefully. It means that every pharaoh was considered the living embodiment of Horus. Oh my gosh. What does that mean, family? It means that Moses is the embodiment of Heru. Yes. Moses is the pharaoh. He is the pharaoh of the Israelites. He was supposed to be the pharaoh of Kemet, one of the pharaohs. He was supposed to. And there are stories that he could have possibly been they say Akhenaten, and that he was supposed to be, this pharaoh. And there's a lot of stories a lot of speculation, okay? A lot of discussions. So going on, reading, I think that's it. It says, if Moses is the baby in the bulrushes, in the biblical account, he has become, as it were, Horus. I just said that. I forgot that I highlighted that. Yeah, and the equivalent to the Pharaoh. So there you go. So Moses he was eligible because he was of the matrilineal bloodline, and that's why you're going to see what he does with the Levites. That's why they weren't numbered. That's why they got to be, dipping in everybody's goods. Everybody had to give them everything. They were the ones that did all the sacrifices. Moses was the only one who talked to God for a while. And then he said, okay, my brother's Aaron. Now there was also an Aaronic bloodline. So there were Levitical priests who were scribes. They cleaned the temple. They did everything. But there was a special elite group of priests that are called Aaronic priests. Aaron is also of matrilineal Kemetic bloodline. So all the people who came through Aaron's bloodline were Aaronic priests, his sons. Why? Because those were the Levites who had the Kemetic blood. Let me say it again. Moses, Aaron, Phineas, all of Aaron's children, all of his descendants, they were of that Aaronic bloodline. They had that Kemetic matrilineal bloodline. So they were essentially Kemet and Hebrew. Miriam as well. Wait, did I read this already? Yes, I did. Okay. Moses and Aaron were Egyptian through their mother and Levite through their dad. I just said that, but let's read this. So were all those, this is from the Bible. So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers. See? Now remember, we're talking about the Israelites. They say, we're going to go through the father. I want to switch it up a little bit. Moses, he said, I want to go to be honest, he's saying, these are the people I want to rule. I want to rule these Hebrews. So if I want to rule them, I'm going to say, I'm going to focus on my daddy, on my grandpa from my mom, and my dad, he's Levite. So not even the grandpa for the mom, scratch that. The dad who's a Levite. Okay. Amram, and then unto Amram's his ancestors. So Moses is like, I'm going to be the Levite, rule over here, and my brother, so is my brother. So is my brother and all the other Levites. So, because remember also, I want to say this, not all the Levites were of Kemetic bloodline. I want to specify that so I clear that up for you. Not all of the Levites were Kemetic bloodline. They just got it a little better because Moses' tribe was Levi on his dad's side. Okay. So Moses, he's a Levite, and he's like, okay, well, if his dad was Judite, it would have been the Judite priesthood. But he's like, okay, I'm going to give you guys some good, come ups here. You get to be a scribe, you get to be this, you get to be that. And then he's like, wait a minute. No, what? Oh, I gotta take that goofy off just a second. I didn't take it off. Okay, let me see here. I'm trying to take it off and I can't. Okay. So let me look in the chat for a minute and see if anybody has any comments. Yes, please hit the like. Thank you. I love all my this, but now that we know where we came from, we are going. Where are we going from here? Wherever you want to go. Let's see. Oh my God. You know what? There's a bunch of people who don't know how to even wipe correctly. Look, if you're constipated and you don't believe in the story and you're already starting your morning with your bitter talk, please take yourself and go somewhere else. Get some fiber in your life. Listen to some good music. If probably nobody wants to be around you, so you can't go talk to anybody. But just go, detox. You don't have to believe the story. Nobody's arguing over anything. All you got to do is, this isn't really interesting to me. Let me go to the other 9 million channels on YouTube and watch something else. Or how about I go walk, do something, be alive. You know what I mean? Like, God, people love being miserable. Now, I said enough of that. Get out of here. You don't come into, when you see somebody teaching like the brother Smash Rockwell, talking about the Kemetic, which he's awesome. He's one of my favorite teachers. When he's teaching the meta netter and talking about the ancient meta netter, you don't come in with your BS. Oh, this is all fake. Oh, I can't use the bathroom right. Like, dude, go do something else. Okay? Nobody's arguing over it. It's an ancient text that we're talking about. All right? So, and there, I'm talking to the particular person talking about we're arguing. Nobody over here is arguing. You're the only one over here with your toxic BS. Now, back to what I was saying. This is interesting to some people. Newsflash, okay? Just like people are interested in looking at channels that talk about people and lie on people all day long, and they rub their bellies and, oh, it's so funny. This actually is interesting to people to connect ancient text and to figure out why it's there and to show the Bible has Kemetic information in there. This is actually something another news flash. The Bible is one of the most popular books in the world. So it's kind of interesting for some people to say, oh, so that book, those ancient writings are linked back to Kemet? You get what I'm saying, y'all? I love you too. Now, let's get back to this. It's not that hard to turn it. Somebody needs to tell people how to change the damn, I don't know. I want to sit here and type. This is dumb. This is stupid. I can't believe you arguing. I can't believe you still talking like that in 2023. Can't believe you don't know how to go and do your own shit. Excuse my language. Okay, I'm never dragging them. Anyway, where was I? We were talking about this very interesting correlation showing that Moses is not some guy that sprouted out of the ground and God said, that's the one right there. I want him. No, he's Kemetic. According to the biblical text, esoterically, not even, it's right in our face. And you can look at Kemet and see, oh, wow, this story is a Kemetic story. It's pretty interesting to some people. Okay. Now, where was I? Let's go back to the PowerPoint. And by the way, have a great morning. Okay. All righty then. Ooh, screen sharing this. All right, so we looked at this. Oh yeah, let me read this down. Moses and Aaron were Egyptian through their mother and the Levite through their dad. So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel, all the tribes, by the house of their fathers. from 20 years old and upward, and all that were able to go forth to war in Israel. Verse 46. Even all they that were numbered were 600,000 and 3,000 and 550. Listen to this part, verse 47. But the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered. Very significant. Why? Because Moses is a Levite, and Moses is like, nah, we ain't getting numbered, y'all. They are, but not us, because we're a higher class of people. Because I'm Moses. I'm actually a Pharaoh. But the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered like everybody else. They weren't numbered among them. You're not counting us. We got this. We're ruling. I'm Moses. 48. For the Lord hath spoken unto Moses, saying, verse 49, only thou shalt not number the tribe of Levi, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over the vessels thereof, and over all things that belong to it. So the Levites are like they're the powerful, richest. They're the most powerful of all, because they control everything that has to do with God. And that was like the way you look at the rulers today, like the political rulers, celebrity rulers, scholars. The Levites were all of that. They were the top guys. Okay, so nobody's numbering them, and they get to rule everything. Why? Because Moses is of that tribe. His daddy, and then his mama is Kemetic. Moses is like, they got me messed all the way up. I'm the one. I'm the Pharaoh. Okay. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over the vessels thereof, and over all things that belong to it. So basically all things that belong to God. They shall bear the tabernacle and all the vessels thereof, and they shall minister unto it, and shall encamp around the tabernacle. So they even lived around the tabernacle. That was the house of God. And it's not the same as today where, the house of God, I don't want to go. It was like the ultimate place to be, So, see, so they weren't numbered. This is a depiction of Osset nursing Heru. Okay, so this is the Palermo stone that we talked about. Each row is divided into years by a sign similar to an inverted F. Okay, so we saw that. And the rulers, the names of the rulers and their royal mothers. So this is proving my point that Moses was matrilineally Kemetic. It says it in the text, not explicitly, but it tells us Moses had a mother, and his mother's name was Jochebed, and Jochebed's mama was married to a Levite, and she had Jochebed in Egypt. The significance is they're only saying that about Jochebed. They don't say that about anyone else being born in Egypt. So we see that they're showing us esoterically this woman is of the matrilineal Kemetic line. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter. Now I'm going to go into the Hebrew and show you. She didn't take this child somewhere off into the woods or to her hut and nurse this baby. No, she didn't. And the babies weren't safe. Going into the text now, okay? Babies weren't safe, especially not Hebrew baby boys. Do you know that the decree that the Pharaoh put out, he said, everybody in the community said, y'all, if you see somebody with a Hebrew with a baby boy, snatch him and throw him in the river and let the alligators or crocodiles, whatever, eat him. That's what happened. It didn't just say, soldiers, go out and find all the babies. It said, snatch the babies. If you decree, it was like, hear ye, hear ye. If you see a Hebrew Israelite baby boy, you could take it from the people and throw the baby in the water. That's what the Bible says that the order was. So why would the Pharaoh's daughter say, here you go on back over there, girl, take this Hebrew baby and just, I hope I see you come back? No, she stayed in the home of the Pharaoh and nursed her baby. The child grew and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, meaning she had finally handed him over. Okay. And he became her son. More significance showing you that Moses is actually actually Kemetic. Moses could have never become her son as a Hebrew only. He would have died according to the Bible text. Okay. According to the biblical text, he would have been destroyed. He would have never have just, this isn't some fairy tale. Well, to me it isn't, but it isn't some fantasy where you can't make sense of it, even if you're watching a movie and you go, that didn't make sense though, that was dumb. So back to those who are like, this isn't real. It has to still make sense, right? If in the movie they say, and then the king said, kill all the Hebrew babies. Wait a minute, why did they kill that Hebrew baby? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't flow. Why? Because he wasn't Hebrew only. He was Kemetic matrilineally. Okay? Matrilinealistic or whatever it's called. So he became her son. He was a Kemetic child. And this is what it says. She called him Moses. What do you think Moses means? Let me see the ones who I know. I'm going to see in the chat. Does anybody want to take a guess at what the word Moses means in Kemet, in the Kemetic language? Anybody? Are the Levites and the Pharisees related in any way? Levites and Pharisees, they're supposed to be related, but as things progressed, there were Judites becoming priests, and then, Herod wasn't even an Israelite. They became Pharisees. So not always. Some of them were, definitely, but not all of them. So does anybody know what Moses means? Moses means son. Means son. It actually means son, meaning son, like the boy who belongs to a parent. Son. So she says she called him son. This princess. This is a representation of Aset. He went from Jochebed being Hathor, Het Heru, and now the princess is Isis Aset in the story. That's the representation. Get it? Goes from Heru was first the son of Hathor, Het Heru. Then he became the son of Isis Aset. So the princess in the story is also representing Aset. It's showing you in the story. Why is that important? When you can see that correlation, because then you know that Moses is a pharaoh, because all pharaohs were considered the embodiment, like the carnation, the carnal, physical flesh form of Heru. Get it? She called him son. She called him Moses. And she said, because I drew him out of the water. See, people say, oh, Moses means drawn out of the water. That's why she says, because I drew him out of the water. No, she's saying, because I drew him out of the water. She's saying, drawing someone out of the water, and especially also in ancient Kemet, if you look at the history, there's some information about water births, but also the water, the amniotic fluid. So this is very symbolic and esoteric spiritually. She's saying, I drew him out of the water. This baby is mine. This baby is 100% coming from me. I drew him out of the water. He came from my womb. Even though we know in the story he is adopted, okay, Jochebed was a surrogate in a sense, representing Heru, as Moses is representing Horus, Heru. And then Isis, Aset, is the representation of this one saying, no, this is my son. That's why more information, more proof that Moses is Kemetic according to the story. So this is a piece, an artifact that has been found, and it is in the museum. Let me see. Title: Isis nursing Horus in the marshes. See the marshes? Same thing with Moses. Depicted on a fragment from a box lid ornament counterpoise. Period. Third intermediate period. Dynasty 21 through 25. Date 1070 to 664 BC. Geography from Kemet, from Egypt. Medium is glazed. My eyes. Glazed steadite. And then it goes and tells the dimensions. Theodore M. Davis collection. Bequest of Theodore M. Davis, 1915. Great. All right. So you see her nursing. Subversion myth. All right. This is more information showing you, hey, do you know that this story is similar to Kemet? I'm going to read this. I think I read this already. Let me read it. This might just be a reiteration of something. One of the core myths of the ancient Egypt concerned the gods Seth, Osiris, Isis, and Horus. Seth and Osiris, you know that's Asar, were brother deities, the former representing evil and chaos, the latter representing good and fertility. The battle between the two resulted in the death of Osiris, but before he died, Osiris had impregnated his wife, Isis, goddess of wisdom and beauty. Isis in turn gave birth to Horus, the falcon-headed god of the kingship. So get it? He's the god of the kingship, god of the pharaohs. When Set learned that his brother Osiris' offspring was born, he sought to kill the baby Horus. Isis prepared a basket of reeds to hide him in the marshlands of the Nile Delta, similar to the story we just talked about, right? Where she suckled him and protected him along with the watchful eye of her sister Nephthys from the snakes, scorpions, and other dangerous creatures until he grew and prospered. Scholars have noted that the birth of the story of Moses is part of a larger motif of ancient literature, namely the exposed infant motif. The ancients delighted in telling their tales. Okay, we read that part. We got that. We did all that. Got it. So the story of Mertz implies not only the author's text, religion. So we read that. We know that. We got that. Now, the Bible says Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, right? We read that in Acts chapter 7. Well, some of those wisdoms are the maxims of good discourse or the wisdom of Tahotep. And this is actually plagiarized, so to speak, or I should just say used. I don't really like saying plagiarized, but they don't give credit to Tahotep in the Bible. This is actually in Proverbs. This is 100% matching Proverbs, basically. You know, not 100%, but it's matching the book of Proverbs. So Moses knew all of that. They taught him that. When he was a boy, Pharaoh's execution of all Israelite boys was a sacrifice and a parallel to the story of Set pursuing preying on Heru. The order to kill all Israelite infant-born males was due to Pharaoh's fear of the boys growing up and usurping power. Just like from Kemet, and essentially himself as a pharaoh. The hecatomb of Israelite boys ordered by Pharaoh is parallel not only the angel of death killing all firstborns, but the covenant of God that Israel makes with the Levite Aaronic priest in Israel forever. So see, this is Moses said, hey, this is a good idea. My grandpa said, kill everybody. I think I'm going to keep that going once I write the Bible, once I write the Torah. All right. And the child grew, and she brought him up unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son, and she called him Moses, and she said, because I drew him out of the water. Amniotic fluid is referred to as water, even in ancient Kemet. So let's look at the bloodline of Moses and the Levites. And let me show you the Aaronic priesthood. The Aaronic priesthood, right? Okay. So what we have here is Levi, the dad, right? Right down the center, we have Kohath, Amram. Kohath is the father of Amram. And then we have Aaron, okay? Aaron, circled in purple, is the Aaronic priesthood. Not because he's the the son of Levi, not even because he's the son of Kohath, because Kohath is the son of Levi the same, not because he's the son of Amram. Aaron has a higher priesthood because he is the son of Jochebed, who has a matrilineal Kemetic bloodline. So Merari and Gershon are also Levites, but they don't have that matrilineal bloodline that did not show up until Amram married Jochebed. Amram is the father who married Jochebed. So good job, Amram. You got the mixed girl, the Israelitish woman. She really wasn't Israelitish because her dad was Israelite. So she was the Kemetic-itish, I should say, or the Kemetish. She was half Kemet from her mom's line. But what it was important is that her father was Levite, so it kept her in the tribes. I think that's about it. I just want to end it with this one right here. Not end it, but let me just the slides. Oh, this is a quote from Dr. Maggie Bryson. She's an Egyptologist. Okay. And she's speaking especially on the Semitic people migrating into Kemet during the 17th century BCE. Well, I want to tell you what she says because this was happening throughout the whole time they were there, the Israelites. Quote, over time, we'll find this evidence of people of Semitic origin in Egypt. Then over time, they tend to kind of disappear. It seems we would have these influxes from the Levant, who then would become Egyptianized over time. Close quote. End quote. Why is that important to what I'm saying? Because they were coming in and they were mixing. They were mixing with the people. And Jochebed was one of those who mixed with the people. So let me see if I can get also some information for you. Let's see here. I'm going to get something here. I want to read some stuff so y'all can get some backup here. Let's start with Moses when he's like, I can't talk to them. I don't know how to talk to I can't speak no dang Hebrew. That's what he's saying. Let me get it. And someone told me, they saw Pharaoh as God. Aaron didn't see Moses as God. They didn't see Moses as God. Yes, Aaron did see Moses as God, and I can prove it. Let me read it. Okay. So, yeah, let me share this. We're going into the blue letter, and I'm going to show you some Bible stuff that shows that Moses was Kemetic as well. That he was raised Kemetic, which the Bible actually says, and that his mother was Kemetic. Why is that important? Because he didn't have a daddy to teach him that, because his daddy was Amram, and he was raised in the house of the Pharaoh. So only his mom he only learned the Kemetic language. So let's read this. So God comes to him in chapter 4 of Exodus and says, Moses, you got this. I want you to go over there and save these people. And Moses is like, verse 14 in chapter 4. He's like, well, before that, he's like, come on, God. Oh, I can't do it. Let me kind of read some of it to you. Verse 10. Moses said unto the Lord, oh, my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of slow tongue. Okay, remember what Paul said? Paul didn't say that. Paul said, he said had powerful speech. Paul said Moses had powerful speech as an Egyptian. He said, this Moses guy, he is powerful with his speech. Because Moses was powerful in his speech. He didn't have a stutter like the embarrassing Bible scholars and people, Hebrews try to say. It's embarrassing. He had a speech impediment. No, he didn't speak Hebrew. He was raised in the house of the Pharaoh. Let's read it. Acts chapter 7, verse 20 to 22. At the time Moses was born, and he was beautiful in the sight of God. For 3 months, he was nurtured in his father's house. That's the Pharaoh. When he was set outside, Pharaoh's daughter, well, I shouldn't read it like that. He was nurtured in his father's house, the Pharaoh. How did that happen? Well, this is going to answer it. When he was set outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him in and brought him up as her own son. So Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. Watch this. And was powerful in speech and action. He was powerful in speech and action. That's what Paul says. Okay? Don't get mad at me if you're Hebrew and you're saying you don't know what you're talking about. Paul said he's powerful in speech. So when you read the text of Moses saying, I can't do this, God. Let me read it. And it shall come to pass. I just read it, didn't I? Oh, yeah. Verse 10. And Moses said unto the Lord, oh, my Lord, I am not eloquent in their language, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of slow tongue when it comes to the Hebrews. Why? Because God said earlier, I need you to go talk to the Hebrews. In this chapter, he's like, I need you to go talk to those Hebrews and tell them this and that. It's like, I don't know that language. Okay, so let's keep going. And the Lord said unto him, who made man's mouth? Who makes dumb, deaf, seeing, or the blind? I have, right? I'm God. Don't worry about it. But then Moses, he just keeps complaining. Now so God says, therefore go, and I will be thy mouth. He says, I got you. I'm going to teach you how to speak Hebrew and teach thee what thou shalt say. So he said, I'm going to help you speak to them. But Moses says, oh, Lord, can you please send somebody else? That's what he basically says. He says, Lord, send, I pray thee, by thy hand of him whom thou wilt send. He's like, God's like, I'm getting mad. So verse 14, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. And he said, okay, Moses, you're tripping about your language. I got it. Don't you know your brother Aaron is a Levite? Bro, he can talk the language. See, it's in the text. He says, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. And he said, is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he can speak Hebrew well. Because we saw Paul said Moses was powerful in speech. We know that Moses could speak. He could speak Kemetic language. So God gives him and says, look, isn't Aaron that Levite? Isn't he your brother? Okay. I know that he can speak well, And also, behold, he comes forth to meet thee. And when he sees thee, he's going to be glad to see you in his heart. So he's like, your brother will help you. Let's keep reading. And thou shalt speak unto him. Watch this. Put words in his mouth. So you're going to tell him what to say to them because he speaks better Hebrew. And I will be with thy mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do. So I'm going to work this out for you, and don't worry, he speaks Hebrew. You're going to feel better. And watch this. He shall be thy spokesman unto the people. So he's going to speak the Hebrew for Moses. So Aaron is looking at Moses and speaking to the people. He's going to Moses. What do you want me to say to them? Got it. And he's telling the people. And then it says, he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, right? And you shall be to him instead of a God. Boom, bomb drop. So he's telling them, remember, Pharaoh is the representation of the God. Moses is the Pharaoh. Aaron is the high priest. And Aaron, even in Kemet, it's in the bloodline usually. The high priest is most often the bloodline. So God's telling him, he's going to be like the mouthpiece for you to the people. I'm going to be the mouthpiece for you, for him. Well, let me just read it. Thou shalt speak unto him and put words in thy mouth. And I will with thy mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do. And he shall be the spokesman unto the people. He shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth. So he instead means like in the place of, instead of a mouth. And thou shalt be to him in the place of a God. So Aaron did look at Moses as God. And everybody looks at the Pharaoh as God in Kemet. And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. That is the Jed. Okay, so there we go. I just want to show that. And what else did I have? Jochebed. In Kemet. Oh, I want to quickly show you something on the Torah website. This website called the Torah. Oh, excuse me. Let me see. Okay. There is a researcher and a scholar and an author. His name is Richard Friedman. Some people have heard of him, some people have not. Richard Friedman talks about the Levites being really Kemetic priests. Thank you, Tuhudi. How could Moses be the son of Pharaoh and not speak Hebrew? But the slaves can speak Hebrew. The slaves were Hebrew. Do you understand? Let me help you out, brother. Thank you for your question, because some other people might be confused a little bit. How could Moses be the son of Pharaoh and not speak Hebrew? The Pharaoh was Egyptian, he wasn't Hebrew. He wasn't Hebrew. The Pharaoh is Kemetic. The Pharaoh's house was Kemetic. Okay? So he was learned in the Kemetic language, primarily. So how could Moses be the son of Pharaoh? Because and not speak Hebrew, because he was Kemetic. But the slaves can speak Hebrew. The slaves were Hebrew in the story. Okay? I don't know what the shake my head is. Shake my head because you're confused? Well, I hope you're not confused anymore. All right, so Moses was Hebrew as well. He was Hebrew in the story. His daddy, Amram, was the Hebrew part. His daddy had nothing to do with him anymore. He lived in the house of the Pharaoh. That's the story. Wouldn't the slaves have to speak the language? Let me see what you say. Wouldn't the slaves have to speak the language of their masters? Yes. That's why Aaron could talk to his brother very well, because he was bilingual. He knew Kemetic language and Hebrew. See, that's the story. Moses said, I don't know, I can't talk. I'm not good at talking. He's talking about the language. God said, well, your brother Aaron knows. He knows what to do. So there you go. The slaves did speak the language of their masters. That doesn't mean that the household of the Pharaoh spoke the slave language. Most of them weren't even exposed to slaves. Okay. So the slaves could understand okay, let me put it this way. African slaves understood English when they were here. Check. So you say, so the slaves spoke Kemet. The slaves understood the Kemetic. You just said it yourself. Let me go back. I don't know if you just said it and forgot. Wouldn't the slaves have to speak the language of their masters? Are you just waking up? Good morning. Get some coffee in you. Get some blood flowing. You don't have to do a juice. Get some wheatgrass or whatever, some chlorophyll. Get the juices pumping. Yes, the slaves understood Kemetic language and they could speak it because they were slaves. Moses wasn't a slave. He lived in the house of the Pharaoh. His dad, but I love these questions. Thank you. It's very helpful. I'm just being funny. I mean, I know you probably just don't take that too personally. I'm joking, but thank you for those questions. Like today, when use English dialect, we don't speak English. Well, he didn't really know the language because let's see what Ghost Lithium asked. I hope we cleared it up. So if the slaves spoke Kemetic language, why would Moses need Aaron to speak Hebrew for him? Moses was not a slave. He was royalty living in the house of the Pharaoh. So the slaves didn't live in the house of the Pharaoh. The slaves were working under the Kemetic rule. So they had to learn how to communicate for the commands and just to be they lived amongst the Kemetic people. You know what I mean? They had to learn it. Moses is in the household of the Pharaoh. And again, he's saying, I can't really talk to them. And God's like, you can do it. Go. It's like, I don't really feel good about it. I don't really speak that well. So God's like, okay, fine. Isn't your brother a Levite slave? See where you said the slave spoke Kemetic? He said, your brother can do it for you. Why would Moses need Aaron? He needed Aaron because Aaron could speak Hebrew. Moses couldn't speak Hebrew well. Why would Moses need Aaron to speak Hebrew for him? He couldn't speak Hebrew well. And look at the family. Look at the laughing emoji. Aren't we all laughing at him? Like, brother, you're slow on this, my friend. Like, you're gonna look at this later and go, oh shit, I knew she was right. I looked really dumb. Sorry, this isn't making sense. It's not making sense for you exactly. If the slaves spoke Kemetic, listen to the logic. If the slave spoke Kemetic, he skips a whole chunk of information. Moses wouldn't have a problem with the speech. Moses wasn't a slave, bro. What part don't you get? I want you to sit back, put the blunt down. It's too early. Moses wasn't a slave. Thank you, Robert Benjamin, for the super sticker. Moses wasn't a slave, Ghost Lithium. He wasn't a slave. Peace, King Shaw. He wasn't a slave. I just went over all of that. And it'll make sense if you keep going over it. Sometimes it can be confusing. Basically, Moses was born and handed right over to the Kemetic princess, correlating or similarly to the story of Aset and Heru. This has nothing to, okay, here we go. This has nothing to do with being a slave or not. It's what did the slave speak and what did Moses speak? Moses was raised in a Kemetic household, and he was, according to Paul, powerful in speech. So stay in context. We have to stay in context. I can do it. It's a superpower for most of us because it's like it's hard for our people, and I'm not being funny. It's something in epigenetically encoded in us. Moses lived in the home of the Pharaoh. Paul is talking about that. Paul says Moses lived in his father's house. He's talking about the Pharaoh of Kemet. Okay? So when Paul says that, he goes, let me explain why he's living in the Pharaoh's house. He was put outside by his mother. The Pharaoh's daughter took him in as his own son, her own son. He learned all the ways of Kemet. That's what the Bible, that's what it says in chapter 7. He learned we're still talking about Kemet. He learned all the ways of Kemet, Ghost Lithium. He was powerful in speech. Ghost Lithium. Are we saying he's powerful in Hebrew speech, family? No, because the context is about him living in the Pharaoh's house, knowing all the ways of Kemet, and then, and he also knew Hebrew. No, he was powerful in speech, Kemetic speech. How do we know that when we're reading it? Well, context clues say he lived in the Pharaoh's house, raised by the Pharaoh's princess daughter as his own daughter. She's his mom. He's powerful in speech. He's powerful in Kemetic speech. When we get back to down to where God's telling him go talk to the Hebrews, I'm not saying he couldn't say a couple words. God told him to go tell them, look, guys, we're going to leave and our life is new. I will tell you, God talking. I can't do all that. I mean, I could maybe come in and say hello and order a pizza with extra cheese, but I can't be saying all that, God. That's what went on in chapter 2 of Exodus. He's like, I can't do that, God. Or chapter 4. God's like, bro, you could do it. I'm going to put it in your word. And he's still like, no, God, I'm not feeling it. And God's like, fine, nigga. I'm going to let your brother, isn't he a Levite? Okay, fine. You get it? So Moses couldn't speak Hebrew fluently. Couldn't. That's why God was like, I'll let your brother talk. Damn. Punk ass. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. But he's like, I'm scared, God. I can't do it, God. He's like, what, bro? You can do it. He's like, I don't know any Hebrew like that. Last time I spoke Hebrew, they were getting ready to tell people that I killed somebody. No, I can't, God. Can't you find somebody? He's like, all right, your brother. Do you get it now, Ghost Lithium? I hope so. All right, so I showed that. I pretty much showed Moses was a Hebrew. Oh, also, guess what? Did you know? You know the word Moses means son in Kemetic, right? And there is something I want to show you. I was going to show you Richard Freeman, but no, don't do that. Hold on. So I appreciate your questions, though. I'm not trying to make fun of you or anything, but I just it's a little confusing. But so I'm not trying to bang on you, but you kind of came sideways, like you're like, come on, laughing emojis and everything. That's the part that was irritating, but not really. That's why I was going at you like that. But you're good. Thanks for your questions. I want to show you guys something about the names. I think it's here. I think it is a Richard Friedman one. Oh, it is. Okay, so let me just show it. Thank you for your questions. If you have more questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Uh-oh, Ghost Lithium asked something else. Moses was raised by his mother, though, lady. Yeah, his mother, the princess, the Pharaoh's daughter. That's what the Bible says, bro. You don't know the... Oh, my God. Look what he said, everybody. You can't bang on me. You have to learn the Bible first in order to bang. Okay, well, this is going to be... You're embarrassing yourself now because I'm going to grab a scripture, and this is showing that you don't know the Bible. It's okay if you don't know the Bible, though. A lot of people don't know it, but you really don't know it. Like, you're lost. Okay, let me read it for you. Exodus chapter 2. Okay? You all right with that one? Let's start with Exodus chapter 2, and then I'll go back to what I read about Paul. Everybody out there, Exodus chapter 2. Let's see if he knows this is the Bible. Maybe he just doesn't know that this is the Bible. That might just... There's just a simple explanation. Okay? Simple explanation. Let's see. Okay. Exodus chapter 2, verse 10. And the child grew. Oh, I can go back up to verse 9. Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, talking to the woman, the mother who gave birth. There are two mothers. Maybe you didn't hear that part. There's one mother who gave birth, like a surrogate. That would be Jochebed, who is matrilineally Kemetic, because her mother is Kemetic and her father is a Levite. She married Amram, who is Levite. Amram and Jochebed are the mother and father of Moses. Biologically, they take the baby out of Jochebed. Jochebed gives the baby basically over to the Nile. The baby is drawn from the water, which is symbolic of birth. The woman says his name is Moses, my son. It's her son. She says, he is Moses. He's my son. Let me read it. And it came to pass in this verse 9. Let me go to, yes. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away. And by the way, the word is in the Hebrew doesn't say away, family. I got to show you. I'm glad that he reminded me to do something. It says come. The word also means come. So in the Bible, they're trying to make you think that the woman took the baby. Remember, I got to get the scripture. Remember, the Hebrews, the Kemetic people were told, if you see a Hebrew baby boy, grab that baby and throw it in the river. So there's no way that the baby would go back with the Hebrews. According to the Bible, Ghost. Okay, Ghost Lithium. I'll get that for you, but let me stay on this. Okay. This word yalak can mean not just take. It can also mean come. Okay. Let's look at that. To go, to walk away, to come. 77 times that's in the Bible, to come. to depart, away, to follow, to get, to lead, brought, carry, bring. So it doesn't just mean away. Why'd they put take away? Why'd they put take? Because they want to confuse you. But according to the text, that doesn't make sense. Why would she save the baby, get the baby away from her so the baby won't be thrown in the water and be like, la, 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 did you like your swim, son? We're going back to the Hebrew land and they're going to Goshen so we can get somebody snatching you out of my hand and throwing you to the crocodiles. No. The actual translation should be come, which that word does mean come. That word also means carry, bring. Okay, it means that. So why are they confusing us? Because they want people like Ghost, Lithium, to stay asleep. Now let's read it with come, okay? Pharaoh's daughter said to the nursemaid, right, to the surrogate, she said unto her, come, this child, come, nurse. Let's see. She says, yalak. That doesn't just mean take. It means come. It means bring. It means bring, come, carry. So she says, come, this child, carry, and nurse. That's what the Bible says the word means. The Hebrew. It can mean that as well. I showed you just now. I think I showed you. I hope I was screen sharing. Damn, I wasn't. Oh, Nepal, my dear, all the things you do. Didn't screen share at all. Let me screen share. Sorry. I'll screen share it. She ain't reading exit. The hell? Nepal does bad Bible stuff. Oh, you know what? Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. Hold your horses. Read Exodus 2, 7 through 8. Tell us who raised them. Got it. Let me screen share. Let's do that for him. He's a Bible warrior. He's one of those people. I just read it. Let me get it again for you, though. I love doing this. Okay. So he wants us to read 7 through 8. All right. Let's go read 7 through 8 then. I ain't never scared. I'm just kidding. Okay. Let's go to 7 through 8. Now everybody can see. I thought I was screen sharing. All right. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? What's your point? But let's keep reading. The Pharaoh's daughter said, yes, go. And the maid went and called their child. Why did she say, yeah, here's a baby. Go ahead. Go take her to her. Farewell, little baby. No, she said, yes, go and bring her back. Bring her back. Let's keep reading. Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, this is where your piñata is getting laid wide open. All the marijuana, all the mushrooms, all everywhere. We don't want none of them, though. This is where your piñata is bursted. Early in the morning, I'm busting this piñata open. Thank you. Now, like I said, Mr. I don't know the Bible. And I'm going to look at your thousands of comments right now. You triggered. He's typing super fast now. Okay, you wake now, right? Well, good. I'm glad to wake you up. Here we go, family. Now, everybody saw he asked. I read the verses he wanted. Now we're going to go back to the Hebrew. She says, the Pharaoh daughter says, let's get it. Okay, we're going to go to Yalak. She said unto her, Yalak. See what Yalak means.
Strong's H3212. Yalach. Yalach.
Okay, hold your horses there. Don't comment yet. Just a minute now. I can't see what you're saying. I just clicked to see. You just don't type another 50 comments. I don't want to miss anything. So that's what it says. It says Yalak. Guess what? Ghost Lithium. I think that's your name. Yalak means a lot of stuff. Yalak means go. It means walk. It means come. It means depart. It means away. Depart. Oh, it means away. It means follow. It means get. It means lead. It means brought. It means carry. It means bring. Now, let's look at the context of this. Are you still with me, everybody? The story is that let's go slow, walk them down like they're little boys. The story says that the woman didn't want the baby to get killed. Let me look in the chat and see if everybody got that part. Does the story say that? Put a 1 in the chat. Anybody? Does the story say the mother, Jochebed, doesn't want her child to get snatched from her arms and thrown in the water? Does it say she's tried to save the baby by sending it away? Yes or no? Yeah, no, just does the story, because we got to go slow with you. Okay? No, it doesn't. You said it means exactly what it's translated to. And no. You want it to mean that because you don't know context clues. You don't have reading comprehension. I'm going to ask somebody else. Thank you, Ace Thriver. So we know that somebody out here is feeling mercy for you. This brother's like, let me go on and put this one. This is a damn shame. Yes. So you can say freestyling. You can run up into your pastor's, hide behind your pastor's pulpit, or you could actually use your brain. Okay? The story is the woman, Jochebed, has to save her baby and get her baby away from her. Let me say it again. Away from her. No, we don't do that stupid ass shit where you I don't have any male ego. Okay. I'm telling as I talk, you're typing. You don't hear what I'm saying? The story says she tried to save the baby. Let me get the thing about the decree. Let me throw some more grease on you. Cook you up here. Let me get the decree. Okay. The Pharaoh told the midwives to kill the male babies, right? Y'all, this dude said he knows the Bible. I don't think he does. Let's get it in the blue letter too. Let's just go all the way in. Okay. All right. So Exodus chapter 1. Okay. Chapter 1. Let's read it. For him. We got to go we got to take the whole story apart now, family. But we're doing this do it for the people. Let's do this for him. Okay, let me stop screen sharing the other fire and bring this fire. Let me screen share this. Okay. Oh yeah, this is good, y'all. Oh God, I'm blessed the unfathomable God that I can do this. I love it. I love showing the Bible and right in their faces, and they still say, you could, you don't know. No, you don't know. It's embarrassing a little bit, but the sad part is that you think you know and you don't. That's the part that's embarrassing. Not that you don't know, because so what? A lot of people don't know a lot of stuff, but you think you know. All right, so everybody, please look at this, and I want you to see Ghost. Let me put his comment up here. You'll lock me. Let me get a good one where he's talking mad shit. Excuse my language. Called Moses, mother. This man, excuse me, not boy. Children are a part of these. All right, so let's read this. Can we read this? You're going to have to delete this video. Boy, now you made me call you boys. If you don't take your butt, hit snooze and go back to sleep. Okay? Delete it for you. No, you're subliminally saying or trying to say, please delete this. I look very dumb right now. Nope, you asked for it. Everybody, please look at the screen and please listen. I'm going to read this and he's going to see. God damn, I didn't know that because I don't really read the Bible. I just follow what my leader says. All right, so let me read it because I can't see it. It's super small. All right, family. Exodus 1. Let's start at 19. Oh, let's go all the way back. We might as well. All right, let's see here. And they made their lives bitter. Where's the one where they gave him the prophecy? Where is it? Okay, well, I don't see that, but they told him, and the Egyptians made the children. Oh, yeah. He's like, these guys are getting too strong. Yes, that's the preface to why he wants to kill all the children. He's like, they're getting too strong. Okay? So let's start at verse 13, chapter 1, verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar, and brick, and in all manners of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. Obviously, they had to communicate with them. That's how they learned Kemetic. That's another cut on him, talking about how did they know Kemetic language. The king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew wives, the king of Egypt, meaning the Pharaoh, spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the son, of which the name was Shiphrah, and the name of the other one was Puah. So there's Shiphrah and Puah. So he tells these midwives, ready? Here we go. Please, everybody, I know you taking your rest, but listen, because we gotta show this guy he's wrong, so he can learn. Ghost lithium. Pharaoh said to the midwives, probably in Kemetic, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and you see them up on the stools, the birthing stools, if it be a son, a boy, no, stay with me, then kill him. So the Hebrew boys were supposed to be killed, Ghost lithium. But if it's a daughter, then she can live. Another cut on you, okay? So he's saying, kill the boy. Let's keep going. The midwives feared God, and they did not as the king of Egypt commanded them. They saved the men, children alive. The king was saying, why are they killing any of these boys? Because I love to kill Hebrew boys. Check. Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called the midwives and said, why have ye done this thing and have saved these men, children alive? And the midwives said unto the Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women. They're lively and delivered the babies before the midwife even comes in. So they're like, oh, they delivered too fast. Ready? Ghost lithium and the entire group, listen to what the decree is. Therefore, God dealt with the midwives and the people, multiplying and waxed them very mighty. Okay, now listen, verse 21. So it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. Yeah, we got it. They're great. Let me get to the part where the Pharaoh says, snatch them babies out the hands and throw them, everybody. Ready? Verse 22. Ghost lithium. Take the wax out of your ears. Put the blunt down and listen to this verse. The Pharaoh charged all his people. Check. I want to get a 1 in the chat. I'm walking them slow, y'all. For those who are not remedial, I'm sorry. Did you hear me say that the verse, not me, did you see the verse that the Pharaoh charged all the people, family? All the people? All the people? The Pharaoh told all the Kemetic people. He told the man, the bum on the road begging, that if he's Kemetic, the lady walking by with the fruit basket, if she's Kemetic, the dude that's building a road, if he's Kemetic, he told all the Kemetic people. What did he tell them? Let me get back and let it Ghost Lithium know what he said. The Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast it. Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Let me say it again, because I don't want to mess up Ghost Lithium. You can't stay with me. The Pharaoh charged all of his people, Every son that is born, ye shall cast into the river. Every daughter, save alive. Every Hebrew son. He wasn't saying that. What are you going to say? Oh, he's talking about Kemetic children too. Be real. The context shows that he's trying to kill Hebrew boys. Verse 22 says, to everybody, the decree, he charged all his people. Every son that is born, ye shall cast into the river. If it's a daughter, let her live. Now, let's go back to what this man who is pathetic. I'm going to ask you a question because we're not working on slow gases like you. Why, if it's on high alert, the woman has to float the baby down the river in the reeds, crocodiles and everything, right? Why would she come and take the baby back and have the baby in danger? Why would she go get the baby back when everybody and their mama wants to throw Hebrew boys into the river according to the Pharaoh? Anybody know? Are you sure? What, your fingers are cramped? You can't type now. Answer that question. Because you have nowhere does it say that she took the baby back. The Hebrew says yalak, which means take away. That's one meaning. It also means come. It also means carry. It means get. It means a lot of things. So because we're smart, we know it doesn't mean take away because mama says baby gonna get drowned or killed. Can't mean take away. Ghost lithium. Maybe you understand me now when I talk like that to you. It can't mean take away Ghost lithium because according to the story, so you have to have reading comprehension on a higher level. The story says she put the baby away from her because she's scared. Because this man, this crazy ass Pharaoh said, hey, everybody, snatch Hebrew babies and throw them in the river. I don't give a damn. You see a boy, snatch him and throw him in the river. That's what it was like. That was the decree. Why would she go take the baby away from the palace or from the Pharaoh's house and nurse the baby in her hut or whatever they lived in, her Amram's house, her husband's house? Why would she do that? That's dumb. That doesn't happen. She would stay in the house of the Pharaoh, chill, and nurse her baby for 3 months in a safe place. Dumb. Now, I'm sticking. Look how he ain't typed yet, y'all. He hasn't typed at all. Y'all saw how he was typing. I gotta type all this. You're wrong. And you gotta pay. Now you're not typing because a coconut fell on his head. Busted his whole piñata open. You get what I'm saying? Why would she walk away with the baby? Because she didn't. And the text says she didn't. The Hebrew. Oh gosh. Getting a little angry over here. I don't know why he's getting to me. No, I mean it's just like embarrassing. Like why isn't he typing now? He got kicked. Who kicked him? Who kicked him? I don't think so. Why would he get kicked out? He wasn't doing anything disrespectful. Let me see. Did he get kicked out? Y'all, did the mods kick him out? Y'all don't kick him out. He's quiet because he's shot. He's cut. As he said, I was cut. He's not kicked. He's busted. No, he's not kicked. He's not kicked. He just was being hurt. It can't be true. Moses, he can't be Kemetic. Yeah, see, his mom was Kemetic, bro. Sorry. So, also, why would this maniac of a Pharaoh, why would he say, snatch babies out of the arms of the parents and throw them in the river, goddammit? Why would he be that crazy, but the baby's right in his house as a Hebrew? Oh, look at the cute little Hebrew boy. Oh, he can stay. What? No. He knew the baby was Kemetic. That's why he's saying, okay, save all the, oh my God, fire just came down, family. That is why also he's saying, don't kill the girls. They might be Kemetic. He can't be sure. I'm throwing that one out there, just trying to seal the deal. Like, grave is already closed. I'm just adding some extra nails. Anyway, so he's gone. Nobody blocked him. If any of the mods blocked him, I would see it. He's gone. Let me see. Let me just make sure. There's no way. I think he really got hurt. Damn. I can't believe he's tearing up his fringes right now. I believed in you, Moses. I believed in you. You could still be cool with Moses if he's Kemetic. Damn. Y'all taking this too seriously. As far as, and you see that I look crazy. Let me see. Okay, no, he didn't get kicked. Where is his ass at? Did he? Who kicked him out? Let me see. No, he didn't. I'm looking for him. Yeah, actually, I need to go into this other channel. I think he did get kicked out. Why? Why? Okay, let's see. I see. No, he's not kicked out. He's not kicked out. Good job, mods. He's not kicked out. They're doing that because he's overdoing it. He's still there. He's not kicked out. But anyway, we showed him. We showed him and fine. All right. So the Bible's showing that Moses was a little baby who was sent into the water by his mama. You know the story. But then the word yalak doesn't always mean away. It means come. So it can mean come, carry this baby and nurse it. It could mean that. Wrench me up. I have to see you over here a little bit more, Weezane, and then I would love to wrench you. I remember seeing you at Saw Knitters. Yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on you. I'll wrench you eventually. I know, Bruce Lee, because he was overdoing it. He just got timed out so he could take go reload his pipe. I don't know what. And I mean tobacco pipe. I don't mean like crack pipe. So that's about it. I showed that. Any questions? Anybody want to come up? Usually people don't come up when I'm teaching because they're a little scared. But it's okay. Everybody's not scared though. If you come up, don't come up talking about stuff that doesn't have anything to do with this, please. And turn on your camera. That is very much of a requirement. All right, let's see here. So Moses is Kemetic. I totally showed you. And yeah, that's about it. I think I'm going to do another one. You have a question for me? Moses is the first author of the Torah, correct? How is it possible for him to write of his own death and burial? Well, you just answered your question, kind of. There's more than one author of the Torah. Good question. Very common question. Hit the link if you want to turn on your camera. Exodus 31:18. What it means, writes with finger. Let's see. What does it mean? Right? Like God writing with the finger? I'm sure it has some extra meaning. I have to do some research on it. But are you talking about when God's writing with, you said Exodus? Let me put it in here. Exodus 31. KJV. Let's use good old witch hunter. Um, let me see here. That guy was lost because he's like, how did Moses not know Hebrew if he was Kemetic? That don't even just doesn't make sense what he even was asking. Speak. Let's see here. What? Let me see. Let me see what did Draco ask. 31:18. Okay, there it is. Okay. I just lost it, I think. Dang. The finger of God would just mean in this, it says, and he gave unto Moses when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai 2 tablets of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God. That's meaning that it's just like straight from God. But there might be some more meaning to that. We have to look into that. I knew you were going to hit the link, Kuhani. And if you come up here, you're just going to ask a question, and then you can let you go. So you better be on point with the build. I knew you were. That's why I said it has to be about the build, and then I'm going to let you go. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
What do you want to ask
So
about
this is
the
what
topic? About the topic. Good morning.
this is what I want to ask. You had said that the Pharaoh knew that Moses was Kemetic, right?
The Pharaoh had to have known that because he would have killed him.
Hmm. Do you think that Moses um being around during I mean, I would think that, since Moses was not a Kemetic person, that him, ascending through like Pharaoh's house could be representation of Egypt being under foreign domination.
You know, it could be a representation of the Hyksos invading the space. If you want to look at it like that, you could look at it in that way as well. I'm just, there's more than one way to look at the text. So yeah, that's a good one. You can look at the text, but when I'm looking at what I'm doing is showing the exegetical information. They're saying it's my eisegesis. Yes, I'm looking at the esoteric. I'll give them that. But even when I look at the esoteric, I'm still using the Bible. But yes, that's definitely a great point. You could look at Moses as the Hyksos or the Hyksos that came and invaded Kemet. Yeah, that's good.
You got a nice background.
Oh, this thing back here, this fan, that's actually, I got someone painted that for me right in front of me in Hawaii. And it was an older man, this painter. He sits by the ocean, on the beach, and he just painted that for me. Yeah, it was nice. So, yeah, any other questions?
Oh, I was surprised to see you on using the whatchamacallit, using Sonnetta's channel. I thought, because I had looked and I was like, wait a minute, this ain't on the pause channel. This on
Yeah, it
Sonnetta's
is
channel.
on my channel. It's on my channel. Don't forget to go to my channel and like the video and subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, I just decided to put it on this channel. Like, I usually don't. Like, I will sometimes, but I just wanted to do it on this channel. I mean, I have before. I did one thing on here, but anyway, any other question about Moses?
No, I want to say what's up.
Oh, good. Okay, Kuhani. Kuhani Mwad.
Just say just
Mwadifu.
No, more deli food. That's how you say it.
More deli food. My bad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
my name translates to priest who is righteous in Swahili.
Priest is righteous. Wow, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate your participation. And
Yes.
you made a great point. Yeah, you better go check on see what that is. Good morning. Have a smoothie. All right. He made a great point. Yes, it could mean a lot of things. Peace, Greg Phillips. Sardines for dinner. Oh, thank you. And I like sardines. But I know that's a reference from Biggie's song. Born winner. No, born sinner. Opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Right? Is that how it goes? And if you don't know, now you know. Thank you, Greg. So, if you don't know, now you know. Moses is Kemetic. I showed some powerful information. Oh, I know what I wanted to get to that article. Got to get that article. Got to get that. Oh, no, no. Let me get this article for you. Dun, 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 dun. Where is it? Oh. Okay, I think this is it. The historical Exodus. All right, let's read this article. Let's do this. The Torah. This is a very reliable website. The evidence for the Levites leaving Egypt. Oh, by the way, I don't subscribe to all of what he teaches. Like, I don't know about them being like a tribe from Kemet who just showed up. But he does talk about a lot of stuff like only the Levites have Kemetic names out of all the tribes. But let's talk about it. The evidence for the Levites leaving Egypt and the introduction of Yahweh into Israel. Professor Richard Elliott Friedman. Okay, let's read this guy's work. And this guy is a Jewish man, by the way. One of the great contributions to critical scholarship was made jointly by my teacher, Frank Cross, and my senior colleague, David Noel Friedman. In 1948, they established on several different grounds that certain songs were of very high antiquity. These included the Song of Miriam and the Song of Deborah in Judges 5. Friedman called them the two oldest texts in the Tanakh, which is true, by the way. Friedman added that this had implications for the historicity of the Exodus. Many scholars and archaeologists say the Exodus never happened. 90% of their argument is based on the lack of artifacts in Kemet in Egypt or the Sinai. And on finding few items of Egyptian material culture in early Israelite sites, which we would have to expect if the Israelites had lived in Egypt for centuries. But that isn't evidence against the historicity of the Exodus. No. At most, it is evidence, more correctly, of an absence of evidence against the tremendous number of participants that the Torah pictures. I had included the idea of a non-millions Exodus in my Who Wrote the Bible back in 1987. I raised the idea there just as a possibility that the smaller Exodus group was just the Levites. So he's saying just the Levites left Kemet. It's closer to the story of the Hyksos, right? The Hyksos, right? That possibility looks substantially more tangible today than it did in 1987. So let's keep reading. The Song of the Sea does not mention the name of Israel. The trail of evidence starts with the Song of Miriam. Miriam is the Kemetic, is the daughter of Jochebed, the sister of Moses. It never speaks of a whole nation of Israel when Miriam is singing. The word Israel does not even occur in it. This is very significant, guys. Like, why is she not saying the people's names in that one of the oldest biblical texts? Because she wasn't talking about the Israelites, according to Professor Friedman. She was only talking about the Levites. This oldest source we have just refers to a people leaving Egypt, and God does not lead them. This to the whole land. He leads them to his sacred abode. He plants them in his legacy mountain at his Mikdash, where his throne's platform is. By the way, that was the temple of Hathor, Ruth's temple, where they went. That last phrase, his throne's platform, occurs only in the song and in the reference to the temple. It is in King Solomon's temple. No, calm down. I don't know about that one. Anyway, let's keep going. This is a lot. Let me just get to the names. You can find this and read it yourself. Okay. So where's the names? Could have sworn they're on here. This might not be the one. Okay, good. I didn't even know it wasn't the one. So let's look at a different one. But he's going to read some of the names of the Hebrews, and they are. Let me see. They are. Hold on. My neck is hurting. Oh, here it is. Okay, he says, Levites Torah narrative have the name with Egyptian etymologies. Okay. This is it. It's still in the Torah website. Good morning to you. Thank you, Rexferu. Okay. Is it Rakeferu? Watch this, guys. Okay, connection. Another approach suggests that the Levites were originally non-Israelites from Egypt who joined the indigenous, and I don't believe that this completely, but he does make a good point here with the names, who joined the indigenous and settled Israelite tribes that were already in Canaan. And landless sojourners, this group found their place working as cultic professionals throughout the territories of the Israelite tribes. Scholars fostering this theory point to the fact that so many of the important Levite figures identified in the Torah narrative have names with Kemetic etymologies, such as Moses, Aaron, Miriam, Phineas, Kehath, and Merari. According to the theory, once the Levites began to serve as cultic professionals for the Israelites, they introduced their own story, that of the Exodus from Egypt, as a national tale origin among this larger population. Perhaps they were even the ones to bring the worship of Yahweh to this group. Wow, it's crazy. Well, family, been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that's it. Peace. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Peace, hybrid cipher. So that's that, family. If you missed the first part, go back over it. No, he not. Oh God, I love people. I've been up here and then for 2 hours and 20 minutes showing all the proof. That's Matt come in with 3 words. No, he not. Anyway, I love my people. Y'all are hilarious. But he is, okay? He's definitely comedic. Matrilineal line. And yeah, that's it. Can I email you information about finger spelling? Sure. Yes, let me put my email in here. I know there's some mods out there sniping from the rooftop, so at so this is the point, family. Moses is comedic. Oh, thank you, Dot. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And if you enjoyed this lesson, thank you. I'm going to do the next one is going to be a Melchizedek. So I want to do like a series, but this Moses one, I really, oh, my fan almost fell, y'all. I told you it was a fan though. The Moses one, I just, oh, it looks like a headdress. Wait. No, just kidding. Thank you, Real Solid. Much respect to you. Sister, I honestly believe that the Kemet we study is the Israel of the Bible. It's looking like that to me. It's looking like the proof is in the pudding. And there's all pudding in there. Like pudding pops. Remember pudding pops? Nobody remembers pudding pops, right? How late am I? What have I missed? Oh, you missed a lot, Frederick. You can go back and watch it though. Anyway, I want to say peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. Namaste. Jambo. Ashe. Shalom. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of light. I am Napashada. And I'm going to come back with another one soon. All right. Go back and watch the playback. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will. All right, guys. Peace. Wow. Peace.